The headline of the passage: Science in Space. Questions 27 to 30. Multiple choice questions. This type of question asks you to choose a suitable answer from the options using the knowledge you gained from the passage. This question type generally follows a sequence, so scanning skill is effective here. Question No. 27. What does the writer state about the ice in the first paragraph? Keywords for the question: ice. First paragraph. In the first paragraph, have a close look at the first 6 lines. A premier, world-class laboratory in low Earth orbit. That was how the National Aeronautics and Space Administration Agency NASA sold the International Space Station ISS to the US Congress in 2001. Today no one can doubt the agency's technological ambition. Here, no one can doubt the agency's technological ambition equals a great example of technological achievement. So, the answer is B. It is a great example of technological achievement. Question No. 28. What are we told about Satoshi Iwas's experimental machine? Keywords for the question: Satoshi Iwas's experimental machine. If you look at paragraph No. 2, the writer describes the design of the experimental machine designed by Satoshi Iwas in the final few lines. Here in lines 16 to 19 the writer mentions, this is where Iwas comes in. He leads a team designing a centrifuge for humans. In their preliminary design, an astronaut is strapped into the seat of a machine that resembles an exercise bike. Here, designing a centrifuge equals designing the experimental machine. Resembles an exercise bike equals based on conventional exercise equipment. So, the answer is A. It is based on conventional exercise equipment. Question No. 29. The writer refers to the Hubble Space Telescope in order to. Keywords for the question: the Hubble Space Telescope. The answer to this question can be found in paragraph No. 5, in lines 7 to 15, where the writer mentions the Hubble Space Telescope. Let's read there. One of CASIS's roles is to convince public and private investors that science on the station is worth the spend. Because judged solely by the number of papers published, the ICE certainly seems poor value. Research on the station has generated about 3,100 papers since 1998. The Hubble Space Telescope, meanwhile, has produced more than 11,300 papers in just over 20 years, yet it cost less than 1/10 of the price of the space station. Here, the ICE certainly seems poor value equals the ICE is not given proper value that it deserves. Research on the station has generated about 3,100 papers since 1998 equals the ICE has generated a good number of papers on space research. These lines suggest that the Hubble Space Telescope is just a telescope and it produced more than 11,300 papers in just over 20 years, whereas the ICE or the International Space Station should be given bigger priority as it has already produced about 3,100 papers. So, the answer is B. Highlight the need to promote the ICE in a positive way. Question No. 30. In the 6th paragraph, we are told that CASIS has keywords for the question: comparison, construction of Homer's poems, another art form. In paragraph No. 6, the writer says in lines 5 to 11, CASIS has examined more than 100 previous microgravity experiments to identify promising research themes. From this, it has opted to focus on life science and medical research, and recently called for proposals for experiments on muscle wasting, osteoporosis and the immune system. Here, recently called for proposals for experiments on muscle wasting, osteoporosis and the immune system equals invited researchers to suggest certain health-based projects. So, the answer is D. Invited researchers to suggest certain health-based projects. Questions 31 to 35. Matching statements with the correct researchers. In this type of question, candidates need to relate statements that are given by or linked to some researchers in the passage. The rules for finding answers to this sort of question are simple. Just find the name of the researchers and read it carefully. Then, give a quick look to check whether there is another statement or idea provided by the same researchers in the text. If there is, check the reference carefully and decide your answer. Remember, The questions may not follow any sequential order. Question No 31. The ICE should be available for business related ventures. Keywords for the question: ICE should be available for business related ventures. In lines 15 to 17 of paragraph No 6, the writer mentions the comment made by Mark Uren. Investment from outside organizations is vital, says Uren, and a balance between academic and commercial research will help attract this. Here, investment from outside organizations is vital equals the ICE should be encouraged to accept business related ventures. So, the answer is C. Mark Uren. Question No 32. There is general ignorance about what kinds of projects are possible on the ICE. Keywords for the question: general ignorance. What kinds of projects are possible? ICE. In paragraph No 7, the writer of the text says, doubt. The station needs to attract cutting-edge research, yet many scientists seem to have little idea what goes on about it. Jean DeFrancesco at Probis conducted more than 200 interviews with people from organizations with potential interests in low-gravity studies. Some were aware of the ICE but they didn't know what's going on up there, she says. Others know there's science, but they don't know what kind. Here, others know there's science, but they don't know what kind equals general ignorance about the kinds of projects that are possible on the ICE. So, the answer is D. Jean DeFrancesco. Question No 33. The process of getting accepted projects onto the ICE should be speeded up. Keywords for the question: process, getting accepted projects onto the ICE should be speeded up. The answer to this question is found in paragraph No 4. Here, the writer says in lines 5 to 14. Lengthy delays like this are one of the key challenges for NASA, according to an April 2011 report from the US National Academy of Sciences. Its authors said they were deeply concerned about the state of NASA's science research, and made a number of recommendations. Besides suggesting that the agency reduces the time between approving experiments and sending them into space, it also recommended setting clearer research priorities. Here, lengthy delays equals it takes too much time for the projects to get accepted, suggesting that the agency reduces the time between approving experiments and sending them into space equals the process of getting accepted projects should be speeded up. So, the answer is B. Authors of the US National Academy of Sciences report. Question No 34. Some achievements of the ICE are underrated. Keywords for the question: some achievements, ICE, underrated. Have a look at the first few lines of paragraph No 6. Here, the writer says, yet Mark Uren, Assistant Associate Administrator for the ICE, refutes the criticism that the station hasn't done any useful research. Here, refutes the criticism that the station hasn't done any useful research equals Uren doesn't think it is correct to criticize the ICE because he believes that the ICE is doing better research, but it doesn't get the proper appreciation. This means its achievement is underrated. So, the answer is C. Mark Uren. Question No 35. To properly assess new space technology, there has to be an absence of gravity. Keywords for the question: properly assess new space technology, has to be absence of gravity. Paragraph No 3 gives us answer to this question. Here, the writer talks about the issue of gravity. Take a look at the final few lines. The only way to test this is in weightlessness, and the only time we have to do that is on the space station, says Lawrence Young, a space medicine expert at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Here, the only way to test this equals to properly assess new space technology. Weightlessness equals absence of gravity. So, the answer is A. Lawrence Young. Questions 37 to 39. Completing summary with a list of words. In this type of question, candidates are asked to complete a summary with a list of words taken from the passage. Candidates must write the correct letter, not the words, as the answers. Keywords and synonyms are important to find answers correctly. Generally, this type of question maintains a sequence. Find the keywords in the passage and you are most likely to find the answers. The headline of the summary: the influence of commercial spaceflight on the ICE. we find a discussion about commercial spaceflight on the International Space Station in the final paragraph. So, all the answers have to be in this paragraph. Question No. 36. According to Alan Stern, private space companies could affect the future of ICE. He believes they could change its image. Firstly, because sending food and equipment there would be more if a commercial craft were used. Keywords for the question Alan Stern. Private space companies could affect the future of ICE. They could change its image. Firstly, because sending food and equipment there would be more if a commercial craft were used. Let's take a look at the first few lines of paragraph No. 8. The writer says here, according to Alan Stern, planetary scientist, the biggest public relations boost for the ICE may come from the privately funded spaceflight industry. Companies like SpaceX could help NASA and its partners when it comes to resupplying the ICE, as it suggests it can reduce launch costs by 2/3. Here, privately funded spaceflight industry equals sending food and equipment there. Commercial craft reduce launch costs by 2/3 equals economical. So, the answer is H. Economical. Question No. 37. And secondly, because commercial flights might make the whole idea of space exploration seem to ordinary people. Keywords for the question. Secondly, because commercial flights might make whole idea of space exploration seem ordinary people. The answer can be found in lines 9 to 12 of paragraph 8, where the writer says that they might not come close to the ICE's orbit, yet Stern believes they will revolutionize the way we, the public, see space. Soon everyone will be dreaming of interplanetary travel again, he predicts. Here, the public equals ordinary people. Soon everyone will be dreaming of interplanetary travel again equals space exploration seem real to ordinary people. So, the answer is D. Real. Question No. 38. Another point is that as the demand for spaceflight increases, there is a chance of them becoming more. Keywords for the question. Another point. Demand for spaceflight increases, chance of them becoming more. The answer can be found in lines 16 to 18 of paragraph No. 8. This demand for low-cost spaceflight could eventually lead to a service running on a more frequent basis. Here, this demand for low-cost spaceflight equals as the demand for spaceflight increases, could eventually lead to equals there is a chance, on a more frequent basis equals regular. So, the answer is F. Regular. Question No. 39. And by working on a commercial flight first, scientists would be more if an ICE position came up. Keywords for the question. By working on a commercial flight first, scientists would be more if an ICE position came up. The final lines of paragraph No. 8 says, giving researchers the chance to test their ideas before submitting a proposal for experiments on the ICE. Getting flight experience should help them win a slot on the station. Here, researchers equals scientists. Getting flight experience should help them win a slot on the station equals scientists would be more suitable. So, the answer is G. Suitable. Question No. 40. Multiple choice questions identifying the main purpose aim title of the passage. This type of question asks you to choose a suitable answer from the options that shows the main aim purpose title using the knowledge you gained from the passage. Generally, this question is found as the last question, so you should not worry much about it. Finding all the answers to previous questions gives you a good idea about the title. Question No. 40. The writer's purpose in writing this article is two keywords for the question. Writer's purpose. Writing this article, solving all the answers in this passage, we get a clear idea about the suggestions made to make the International Space Station more effective. We get suggestions like investing more money in ICE research projects, attracting cutting-edge researches, starting commercial flights, etc. So, the answer is B. Illustrate how the ICE could